'Twas the night before Christmas, and all across the land, people prepared for a holiday so grand. From Newry to Warrenpoint to the empty Omeath streets was a perfect tradition that no year could beat. For every boy and girl with drinks and snacks by their side sat in front of a screen with a film in their hearts by and by. Through the streets of Barcroft, Warrenpoint and Omeath, all had cozied up for a seasonal treat. Whether it be Elf, Home Alone or Polar Express, these movies bring joy and absolve stress. But the biggest film buff out there, of which there were plenty, was young Jimi Murphy, who was nearly 20. For every year, with a glass of eggnog and Christmassy glory, he'd have a frivolous argument with Senan McGeown. 'Twas the perfect tradition to mark the Christmas season, but this year would mark the beginning of a new celebration. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all girls and guys. This year, you'll be in for a pleasant surprise. We're gonna reflect on the Christmas classics we all love, universally enjoyable for younger ages and above. These are the films that stick with us through the years, through triumphs, through struggles, through laughter and tears. And what better way to begin this glorious night than with Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life. Set in the town of Belford Falls, stars George Bailey, adored by all, for he gave his life to the people of his town, building their hopes and dreams while his own ones fell down. But through one night of sorrow and strife, he learns the true key to his wonderful life. This is a perfect example of a feel-good movie, and the filmmaking for the time is as impressive as could be. They built a massive set for the busy town streets, with a working bank set and fully grown trees. And just to make this place seem even more real, they allowed animals on set for a more lived-in feel. The movie also invented a new technique for snow, an alternative to asbestos, a material known for giving cancer to its actors. And the actors in the movie can't be ignored either. Jimmy Stewart has a screen presence like no other, and the townspeople coming together to sing Auld Lang Syne creates one of the sweetest movie endings of all time. Arthur Christmas is a gem, a true holiday treasure, a modern Christmas classic that brings endless pleasure. This is a movie that takes an idea and does everything it can do. It shows the typical Christmas story from a more modern point of view. The world that it builds is original and new, the characters feel layered and nuanced too. With Steve's technology and Grand Santa's old ways, shows people as products of their time and their days. Additionally, the film has a great sense of humour. The comedy in the film is fast-paced and clever. On rewatch, there's always new jokes to be found. I love movies with always new things to discover in the background. The amount of gags they pack into the sequences with the elves is unfounded, so much so, I know 2 people have formed their entire identity around it. The writing is sharp, the emotions run deep. It's a perfect modern Christmas treasure to keep. But we've been talking about silly kids movies a bit too much. Let's move on to Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. The final film of legendary director Stanley Kubrick, it has a much darker tone than your average Christmas flick. After finding out his wife has been having a cheating fantasy, Dr. Phil Hartford accidentally joins a cult-like sex orgy. The film dives into sexuality, shame and the truths we conceal, with a focus on desires we'd rather not feel. The acting is fantastic, Cruise and Kidman at their best, and there's a lot of subtleties and nuances to the performances of the rest. Everything in the frame exudes confidence and intent. The whole movie feels purposeful, not a moment is spent. Kubrick's precision, both subtle and grand, feels so surreal, yet perfectly planned. And let's not forget the impressive production design, all because Kubrick had a fear of flying. See, the movie was shot in England, where Stanley Kubrick was based, which meant they had to remake an entire block on a stage. Kubrick was known for always striving for perfection, which led to this film having the world record longest production. It may seem extreme, but it's hard to argue with the results. To label this as anything other than a masterpiece would be an insult. But maybe that's a bit too dark. It's Christmas after all. Let's lighten the mood with one last film to recall. This is a movie I hold dear, a classic I've watched for so many a year. The Wizard of Oz, a film to behold, a treasure of cinema, both ageless and bold. It's a story we all know and love, where a nasty tornado lifts Dorothy's house up above. To a magical world, with friends by her side, Dorothy travels through Oz far and wide. The visuals dazzle ahead of their time, and every song is a moment sublime. Take King of the Forest for a start. The lyrics are silly, but sung with such heart. Over the Rainbow remains a pure gem, and the rest have wonder sprinkled through them. The film is just a classic, what more can I say? But I know what you're thinking, what does it have to do with the holiday? And the answer is... well, I don't really know. It's not that it has wonder or whimsy or fake cancer snow. You see, a Christmas movie isn't defined by only one thing. Truth is, a Christmas movie can be just about anything. It's all about whatever movies you think work, whether that be Die Hard, The Shining, or Synecdoche, New York. Every year as we approach the month of December, it's important to step back and always remember, an opinion's an opinion, no matter how strange or how odd, because I learned my lesson from Jesus and God. Hello?
You, and thrice you, Jim. What's up?
Oh, nothing much. Just watching Christmas movies.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Did you ever get round to watching The Grinch?
What?
Remember? The gift I gave you last year.
Oh yeah.
Right, well send me your thoughts. I want to talk about it with you.
You're really gonna do this another Christmas Eve?
Right. Well, it's not like you have anything better to do.
Well, looks like I'm gonna have to finally watch this movie. Just bite the bullet. I really hate this movie, but I don't have much of a choice now. Senan wants to talk to me about it so bad, so I'm finally gonna have to watch The Grinch. That's right, I'm gonna do it. I know I watched it once years ago and hated it, but you never know. After so many years, maybe my opinion on this movie will change. It could be a completely different movie from how I remember it. I'm finally gonna watch the only movie version of The Grinch. At least that I'm aware of. Okay, this movie's a bit different than I recall. In fact, the movie's not what I remember at all. But let's start with the positives. The visuals gleam. A fast-paced, colourful, vibrant dream. The ending, sweet but not grand, but it's heartfelt and neatly planned. But the characters, they just don't compel. Why are they motivated? Who can tell? The Grinch loathes Christmas, or so they say, but his mild-mannered demeanour gets in the way. His tragic backstory, alone in despair, in a huge orphanage that housed just one there. Cindy Lou's goal, to help her mother, but she's just a kid like any other. Cindy just feels so generic and bland, and her wacky schemes get way out of hand. Her antics distract, her purpose grows thin, and we're left wondering what lessons within. The filler in this movie really stretches and drags, a 20-minute story stuffed with gags. Take the reindeer subplot. The Grinch finds a beast, kidnaps him to help, but soon he's released. 10 minutes of nonsense, no payoff at all. Max pulls the sleigh, which he'd do with a ball. And the lumberjack guy with his house decked with cheer, I can't remember why he's even here. Not every scene must push plot to its peak, but each should have purpose. Something unique. Yet here it's all scattered, forgettable fluff. A padded runtime that's just not enough. It leaves you wishing for a film more concise, like a short classic version. Wouldn't that be nice? And that's my review for the movie. I'm glad that's finally over. I can already feel myself beginning to turn into Mr. Enter, and nobody wants that. I'm just gonna send this here to Senan and...
Cries!
Senan, what are you doing here?
Well, I just thought every year we do this over text, so I thought I would come to your house and surprise you.
Well, how did you get here?
I cycled here with the deluxe Galivier glove available in retail for $69.99. The link's here.
Alright, come in.
So Jim, what do you think of the Grinch?
Well, honestly, Senan, I thought it was boring. And generic and bland. Honestly, Senan, I don't get what you see in this movie at all.
Whoa. It's one thing to not like a film, it's another to call it generic and bland. You and I mustn't have watched the same film.
That's preposterous. I watched the movie. See?
Hold on a second. That is not the Grinch. The real Grinch has way more personality, not this slop. What's this doing in the bin?
I meant to take out that bin last week.
That's it. We're watching this movie together now. It's only the greatest film ever made, after Holy Grail and Death to Smoochy.
But Jimmy approached the Grinch with some dread, as visions of Jim Carrey danced in his head. He braced for a film that was sure to leave him scarred, and thought about how much he'd rather watch Die Hard. The makeup and sets were impressive, quite a delight, but the cinematography ruined it, not a colour in sight. In this dirty world where grey seemed to rule, any colour at all was a call for enthuse. Every joke in the film was dated and stale. 10 minutes in, Jimmy wanted to bail. And Jim Carrey, well, he gave it his all, but every single expression was completely off the wall. Jim Carrey's energy burned fast and hot, but no one reined him in. They should have, but not. By minute 20 his shtick starts to grind, and the film becomes an endurance of mind. The tone shifts so often it's hard to keep track. One moment it's serious, the next full of smack. The story itself takes quite a twist, but the heart of the original is sadly missed. For no longer was it about a grumpy old man who redeems, but a young child bullied and crushed for his dreams. He's forced to forgive a town full of spite, even though throughout the story they're not in the right. Anyone who enjoys this movie, to love it for all, would need to have a brain 3 sizes too small. But when Jimmy looked over to Senan, who was laughing in tears, he remembered what he learned the previous years. Though some people have opinions that differ, it's respect and understanding that make friendships endure. Liking what you like doesn't make you more intellectually quick. In other words, don't be a dick. So as the movie came to an end, and Senan being a man of reason, Jimmy decided to give his honest opinion.
So what'd you think?
Honestly, I didn't like it. Yeah, the whole movie is obnoxious, ugly, and incredibly stupid. I hate the directing, I hate the performances, and the colours are muted. The movie insists such a grand epic scale, when all it really is a grand epic fail. But...
No, Jimmy. You're completely wrong. The movie is very funny and full of personality.
the character of the movie is annoying and edgy.
Well, there's some impressive set design that adds to the charm.
That's true, but I have a hard time even appreciating that because of the abysmal cinematography.
Well, Jim Carrey
Delivers every single one of his lines in the same loud, annoying and exaggerated tone.
But Jim Carrey?
I know.
Jim Carrey?
No.
That's it! I'm not going to sit here anymore and take any more of the slander about this awesome film.
That's my room.
So stupid, Jimmy. Why can't you see the Grinch for the great Christmas movie it is?
Santa!
Coffee stain?
It's me, Santa.
Santa? Daddy the Nollig, what are you doing here?
Senan, you were on the naughty list.
I only streaked one time through a week for a dare.
It's not that, Senan. You're acting like a twat with Jimmy. Just because he didn't like some Ron Howard movie. I mean, have you seen Solo, a Star Wars movie?
It's just that the Grinch, it's really important to me. I watched it every Christmas with my family. So, to hear Jimmy hating on it really grinds my gears.
Here, Senan. There's something I need to show you.
Where are we?
That, my boy, is the Russian government.
What's he doing? That movie's terrible. Everyone knows that.
Maybe to you it is. But look how happy it makes him.
Dad, it's good movie.
Maybe just because I like a film doesn't mean everyone has to. Because I hate the country bears. That's how Jimmy feels about the Grinch.
Here you go, buddy. Now, about the streaking. Do you promise not to do it ever again?
Not unless it's funny.
Right. Then let's get back to Jimmy's room.
Jeez, thanks Santa for showing me the true meaning of Christmas. Now if you excuse me, I have to go apologise to my friend.
Oh, wait, no. Don't forget your gift.
You there, boy! What day is it?
Why today? Well, it's Christmas Eve day.
Christmas? I haven't missed it! Oh.
Jim!
Senan?
Look, maybe I shouldn't have got so upset about you not liking The Grinch. The Grinch is just a very special movie to me. You know, like you have Die Hard, and The Nightmare Before Christmas, and hundreds of beavers. You have your opinions, and I have mine. Everybody deserves to have their opinions respected.
Even Rory Campbell?
No!
Do you know what, Senan? Maybe The Grinch isn't that bad. I mean, it is bad. Really bad. It's terrible, don't get me wrong. But compared to the Illumination one, it's at least memorable. You see, I'd rather watch an absolute dumpster fire of a movie than a completely safe, boring, generic piece of crap.
What do you say, Jim? Put her there.
Do you know what, Senan? Here, take this.
Oh boy!
And do you know what? This too.
Fuck!
Oh, well, boys, don't mind me. I'm just passing through. Oh, Merry Christmas. Oh.
You know, silly me for expecting privacy in my own home.
Oh, that's Santa.
Huh. That's weird.
What?
It's just, normally every Christmas Eve I'd be visited by a celebrity cameo. But I suppose it's still not too late.
Jimmy and Senan, Nostalgia Critic here. I have a message from God. That's right, God actually got me come to you and say, y'all gotta respect each other's opinions, man. I know everybody has like their own favorite Christmas movies and Christmas specials and stuff, but you gotta respect each other's opinions. Because at the end of the day, nobody's opinion is more important than mine. I mean, obviously. I mean, well, why are you even arguing? You should just go straight to me and be like, which one is the best? I mean, why are you even bickering over this when you know I exist? I'm on this planet and I have the right choice. Which obviously, the right choice is The Grinch, the original, which is a classic. I mean, it's just what Dr. Seuss always wanted. You know, sure, you can do the live action one, kissing dog butts and the Grinch's face and a woman's cleavage and everything. I mean, fart jokes, all that stuff. That stuff that clearly clearly Seuss always had in mind, but the animated one might be a little more timeless, might be a little bit more marketable. Again, I don't know how many Christmas mugs there are of the Grinch's face in a woman's cleavage. But again, I still think maybe they can make it work. Maybe it's Spencer's, maybe it's some adult stores, maybe. But either way, I want to wish you all nothing but the merriest of Christmases, and don't ever question my opinion. Oh, and respect other people's opinions and find out more about them. There's a lot of value to that. But mainly, respect my opinion first. Take care.
Does your house have like a gas leak? So what now, Jim?
You know, what about we watch The Grinch? The original, the animated one from 1966. I remember thinking it was good, right?
For what it is, it's a solid wee movie.
Will we stick it on?
How'd your gift, Jim?
Oh, Senan, you shouldn't have. What could it be? And thus marked the beginning of a new Christmas tradition, where Jimi and Senan gathered every year to share a joyful mission to every Christmas Eve watch films together and expand outside their comfort zone, a media adventure. They exposed themselves to many modern classics this way, or whatever slop they found in CEX that day. They had their disagreements, of course, but the discussions remained civil. They knew which films had merit and which were absolute drivel. Jimi and Senan kept this up for years and more, including debating and celebrity cameos galore. But if you're wondering where Jimi and Senan are now, that is hard to say. Some still believe they meet and watch movies to this very day. But throughout the years, only one thing is certain. One day, years later, Jimi would receive a message from Senan. Jimi, I have a question, if you would be so kind. I've been thinking about it for a while. It boggles my mind. When I think back to Christmas Eve all those years ago, I wonder, Jimi, knowing now what you know, if a different movie would be your personal pick, whether that be modern gem or Christmas classic, or if you would choose the same as you did that fateful night in 2022. Jimi pondered this, and without hesitation, he whispered into his phone, "Wouldn't you?"